We're playing Roberto's favorite song.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the User Friendly, episode 20.
Wow.
My name is Roberto Hoyos, and I am the head guy over at Throwboy, and I'm here with this guy.
Airphone Elijah, founder of MyTees.com, writer for Cultamac.com. Hey, guys.
And User Friendly is a show all about tech and today's internet stories and topics and
our
stuff.
favorite stuff from the web.
Yeah.
Every week we changes.
I felt like that was totally concise.
That was totally concise.
But so thank you for coming and sitting down and watching our show.
Yes.
Episode 20, man.
Episode 20. So that means we've been doing this for 3 months, 4 months? So 4.5 months? No.
I don't know. You have to Google
4,
that.
8, 12, 16, 20. 5 months!
Doesn't feel like it. Does it?
Dude, it does not feel like we've been doing this for 5 months.
No.
Wow.
And if you've been watching for 5 months, you need some sort of no prize or something.
5 months.
Crazy.
At 4 week months.
Well. So how you been, man?
I have been good.
Yeah. How's your week going?
Pretty good. I spent the last 24 hours watching Modern Warfare 3 videos on YouTube and picking up tips.
Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that game already out?
It is, yeah. So I'm not watching like trailer videos. I'm
okay.
watching replays of like these guys who are super good. Guys who who get like 80 kills and die once the entire game, which if you play the game, you know how freaking impossible that is. And I've been watching those and picking up tips so I can get better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to be the best Modern Warfare 3 player.
I've been playing a lot of Mega Man 3 for
Have you?
regular Nintendo. How do you feel about that?
I love the Mega Man games. Those are great.
It'd be funny if that was just my joke rebuttal, but it's actually true.
No, I didn't think you were joking at all, actually. I was like, yeah, it seems about right. Do you have any other Mega Man games?
I think I have 5.
You have 5 Mega Man games?
Mega
or you
Man
have
5.
Mega Man 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
We grew up with 3 and 5 for some reason, but I feel like I only have 3 now. But I don't know. Sometimes I like to just play like a little just simple game, like side-scroller.
Yeah.
Know? But I still really want an Xbox, but I don't know. I still feel like it's like at the end of the life of it or something.
Oh,
you know?
it totally is, yeah.
So that kind of leads us into our current event.
Yeah,
story.
so let's start with our first story. We are going to be talking about E3. So if you're unfamiliar with E3, that's a little weird, but it's the giant video game expo in Los Angeles. And as far as I know, it's press only, so you have to have some reason to be there. You can't just get in.
Right.
And it's kind of an interesting year because we're on the cusp of getting 2 new systems.
Freaking finally, dude.
Finally, yeah. So nothing's been announced. They haven't announced a new Xbox. They haven't announced a new PlayStation. But by next year, we should definitely be hearing something. Because the Xbox, believe it or not, the Xbox 360 is 8 years old? It's either 7 or 8 years old.
I was just gonna look it up.
Which is really old. I mean, imagine computers from 7 years ago.
Right, and it's still running the same like PowerPC G5 processor?
Yeah, it's still running really old hardware.
How does this work? Like, this was always my question, is computers get outdated really quickly. 6 months you already have. 12 months is definitely an old machine,
Yeah.
And so you're putting these processors in this box that's going to get fixed into time for like a number of years.
Gosh,
How does that work? The developers, do they learn like how to optimize things over time?
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. And then by the end of life of the system, I mean, the developers just know the system so well
that the games coming out at the end of life are really, really good.
Yeah, are just better than the ones at the start. And plus, I mean, an Xbox only has to do really, well, these days it has to do more than one thing. I was just going to say they only have to do one thing, and that's to play games, right? But the Xbox boxes these days do all sorts of things.
Sure.
But it's a closed system, so they don't need to worry about things you're going to find on the internet. I mean, you're not going to be playing Flash videos. It's like everything's optimized for that system, which is, I think, is how they get away with it.
So you play a lot of Xbox.
I do.
Do you feel like there's a lot of things that you like fantasize that you could think of that could make the system a lot better, or is it still a really great experience for you?
There are things that can make it better. Just hardware wise, I would love to see it have faster internet connection.
Okay.
It's the connection now is actually not bad. It used to be worse. They just upgraded it. But that would be cool. You know, actually, I can't really think of very much else. I'd like to see the system be faster. Obviously, that would be great. Because I think current developers have kind of already maxed out its capacity. Or capabilities, I should say. And other than that, who knows? I mean, who knows what we're gonna see? There's some people who are really excited about Kinect. I'm not really a big Kinect fan, so I don't really care that much about that.
So what were the kind of key E3
So yeah,
announcements?
E3 highlights.
Let's go through the big box people. So what did Microsoft
Well,
talk about?
it's still going on. Microsoft talked a lot about their major games coming out, of which there are probably like 10. But the biggest ones were Halo 4.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised that they're actually releasing a new Halo game. I didn't think that they were going to after the original developers, Bungie, signed off and aren't going to do it anymore.
When did that happen?
2 years ago?
On the last one?
On the last Halo game. So there's a new Halo 4 coming out. It's created by a brand new studio that I have never actually heard of. And so everyone's kind of waiting to see what that's going to be like. But from the game trailers that I saw, it actually looks really cool.
Okay.
And then there's not Modern Warfare. There's a new Call of Duty coming out. It's going to be called Black Ops 2. Which I'm actually really excited about because that's kind of like the Call of Duty games are kind of like my main games. There's a South Park game coming out that some people are really excited about.
I think I saw that and it actually looked pretty good. Like, because
Yeah.
South Park has never had a good game. Like, all their games were just terrible. So
I've never actually even played one.
I
But,
don't know. That's for Xbox?
That's for Xbox, yeah. And they said that the game developers really wanted to try to create a game that looked like the TV show, looked as crappy as the TV show.
Yeah.
And that was actually really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's an RPG, so a role-playing game, which means it's going to be
Interesting.
like an adventure game, so that will be interesting. PlayStation came out with a bunch of games. I'm not really a PlayStation player, so I couldn't really tell you that very much about it. The Nintendo press event, as far as I understand, was kind of a disappointment. So Nintendo has this brand new system coming out called the Wii U, which is basically like the Wii, except you have this giant controller with a screen on it, and how that screen is going to interact with the Wii U, the system itself, that's still to be seen. And the games they're coming out with look kind of cool. They're releasing a new Mario Brothers game, of course. And, oh yeah, that's the controller, the giant controller.
God, it looks like an iPad.
It's huge. And I'm not really excited about the Wii U. I feel like Nintendo has really kind of... I feel like they're losing it. Like, the Wii was really innovative, right? But I think for the most part, people don't want to play motion control games. Like avid gamers don't use motion control. They don't care about motion control. I don't want to use motion control. I want a controller. And Nintendo's always really had like their Mario games like be like their best games. Like third-party games are never really as good as on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So they're showing off this system, and I mean the reception, as far as I've seen, has been lukewarm. I'm a little actually worried about Nintendo, to be honest, because I know someone that works there. They've been doing layoffs.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm kind of
They're
like,
right in our neighborhood, by the way.
yeah, they're in Redmond, Washington, right near Microsoft, and I'm kind of like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if they just went bankrupt?
Yeah,
right? Because
like
Sega did.
Yeah.
Their portable systems haven't been selling well.
Yeah.
And if this system and the resales have been falling for like a year or two.
That's what I heard.
So like if this thing doesn't do well, I'm kind of like, how do you live with a system for 5 years when no one wants to buy it, right?
Right. Yeah. All the investment, all the market or not. What is it called?
Market research.
Market research. And,
Yeah.
R&D and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money like going into one system that I don't know. I don't know very much about it. I'm just looking at the controller. But when the Wii came out, people were pissed when they saw that first screenshot of the nunchuck and the wand remote. They were like, "What the hell? What are they doing?"
That's true.
So who knows?
And that thing's still like gangbusters. I mean,
Doesn't Nintendo still do a good? Don't they just kill it in portable games? Besides the iPhone.
No, as far as I know, their portable game business is languishing. Like their 3DS, which is their handheld system, has not sold well.
So okay, if Nintendo did go under, they still have these ridiculously awesome properties because of all Mario and Zelda and all those things. So do you think that we could end up seeing like we see Sonic the Hedgehog is on freaking Xbox 360? Like, are we gonna see?
Oh,
that?
I think we definitely would. I mean, Nintendo investors have been pushing them to release their games for like iPad and like iPhone and other systems, and Nintendo's like, we will never do that because that is Nintendo, right? Like Mario Brothers,
it's like
and,
Apple.
Yeah, it's like that's what Nintendo is,
yeah.
right? So I think they could definitely live on. Like, I would love to see like a Mario Brothers game on my Xbox. I mean, this Wii U is going to cost $300. And I'm like $300 for what is essentially a Wii, except with HD graphics. And by the way, it's going to be 2000, almost 13 by the time this thing starts shipping, and they're just adding HD graphics.
Right. Yeah. They've always been behind.
Way behind.
I mean, not always, but they've been behind for several years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Wii U was innovative in a lot of different areas, but why they didn't like update it to have HD graphics like halfway through its life?
Right.
Like, I feel like that would have given it a lot more life. It's like, oh wow, this thing actually has HD graphics.
Yeah. Like you can hook it up to like an old TV. Like you can hook it up to the old standard TV.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Nintendo. It's like it's obviously behind on tech wise. Like there's no getting around that. But their properties are ridiculous. Like Mario and like Zelda. Those are such well known. Those are like Disneyland properties.
Yeah.
Like they could have their own stores, like their own Nintendo stores if they don't already. I'm not sure. They could have their own like Nintendo theme park. They could step outside just being this closed down game thing because they're like people buy Mario plush dolls and Mario shirts and like it's everywhere,
Yeah.
Especially now, I think that it's even more embraced in the culture. So if they flounder with their main moneymaker, which hopefully is the actual consoles, then I don't know. I feel like they could get outside of that. I've been reading this book about Disney when Disney was kind of like tanking, and like they just had to readjust. Like they were charging way too low prices for the theme parks, so they had to like make that really like a lot more expensive to seem more like it was a thing that you should go to rather than it just like anybody can go in because it's super cheap.
Right.
And then they didn't even want to do VHS sales, and VHS sales was like one of the biggest things that they've ever done. So like I feel like they have a lot of value in their brand, and they need to like really leverage that.
Yeah, I mean, if they released iOS games, let's say, like if they put Mario Brothers on your iPhone, do you think that would affect if people bought their system or not?
Well, it would have to depend because it would be a different type of game, right? So I don't know. I mean, doesn't Microsoft have a lot of games? Or no, like Halo and stuff is like only on Xbox, right?
Yeah, every system has its exclusive titles.
Sure, yeah. So I don't know, man. Like maybe if we could look at a console that was compelling, then no, then I don't think it would affect their console sales.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I think it might be a good idea for them to release like older games. Like I would love to play like Mega Man, for instance, on my iPhone. It's like
they have that
on the iPhone,
on the iPad too. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I think there's a handful of like different Nintendo. Maybe I'm not. I know for
maybe it's
for a fact
because
Mega
Nintendo
Man.
wasn't the developer of that game.
Yeah,
so
it's
maybe
Capcom,
that's why.
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's why.
But see, even outside of that, it's like, yeah, there's the nostalgic crowd that's like, oh, I would love to play old Nintendo games. But that only lasts so long. You know what I mean? You're not going to go every day and want to go replay that,
No, that's true, but they can make probably a lot of extra money selling Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers, on the iTunes store.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to do that forever, like make money off their old stuff.
Yeah, and that's essentially what they do. Like every time they release a new system, it's like they sell the exact same games. They port it and they resell it to you.
Yeah, or they have to always do what's the new version of Zelda for this new system,
Yeah. So actually, in that regard, I am a little bit excited about it because I'm like, well, at least it's going to be HD. Finally, it's going to be HD, and I think that's going to make a really big difference.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Nintendo system's coming out first. And I'm really excited about the next Xbox. A lot of people are because we know it's coming, and we've seen things that makes it seem like they're starting to work on it now. I don't know what's taking them so long, but we should by E3 next year we should see new PlayStation and new Xboxes.
Even if it's 3 computers housed in a platform with a plastic shell that says it's going to be the new Xbox.
Yeah, it's probably going to be just like a lot of off-the-shelf components.
Yeah, when I went to so I went to E3 in 2004, I think, when I moved down to LA, and it was like right down the street from where I live. So we got in by saying that we worked at Apple, and they just gave us badges that said Apple, you know, because we worked at Apple retail.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. But that's what the Xbox 360 was. It was like 2 G5 towers. You could see it, like you could pierce through like the platform, and if you look through the crack, it was like 2 G5 towers.
So they're using the G5 chips from what Apple was using?
That's what I was telling you, yeah.
I thought they custom designed the chips for their systems.
No,
that's
it was
what
the
I read.
IBM PowerPC G5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. So
it says it right there. 3.2 gigahertz PowerPC.
Tri-core Xenon processor.
Mm-hmm.
Only 512 megabytes of video RAM.
Real.
Wow, that's gonna be the big thing, man. I mean, like upgrading that video card, especially with more RAM. I mean, for games to look as amazing as they already do, just think about a system that's 10 to 20 times more powerful than that.
Yeah.
It's gonna make games look amazing. I mean, they can be lifelike.
So, okay, I have a question. With the popularity of people playing games on their phones, people are talking about this TV or Apple TV type of device or television set that will do this reverse AirPlay, you know, where you're like you're playing something on here and then you can just and then it's on your TV in front of you. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this kind of touch interface type of gameplay will translate onto the screen, like onto a big screen, and then basically we're not buying consoles as much, we're just downloading games on our phone and playing the same game on our TV?
Oh man, that would take the ability to pair a controller with that device. My immediate answer is no.
This wouldn't be the controller.
No way. Who wants to use an iPad or an iPhone as a controller? No one wants to use them as a controller.
But lots of people love their iPad games. Dude.
Yeah, but an iPad game is way different than Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Like, for Modern Warfare 3, you need a controller. Like, you're not going to be, like, moving your fingers around some touch-sensitive thing with no feedback whatsoever.
Well, do you? I mean, like, people they're trying to move away from the keyboard and, like, any physical keys in the computer world.
Yeah, but I think a keyboard is different. I mean, like, games like Modern Warfare 3, precision counts a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be precise with a touch screen. I mean, you could argue
even with time about sensitive software.
No, because you're still touching a flat surface that's giving you no feedback. Uh-huh. Like with a joystick, I can tell exactly how far I have my joystick moving. Mm-hmm. I can move it fast or move it slow, and it's immediately responsive. I just feel like I can't get that type of feedback from a touchscreen remote.
Do you think that game companies are still going to be catering to that mindset of we need to have a physical controller for the best experience?
I do, yeah.
And not,
I mean,
like,
they would be stupid not to.
Because a lot of them are trying to chase this motion bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've noticed, a lot of them it was popular, but I honestly think motion is a gimmick. Mm-hmm. I've always thought that. I mean, the Nintendo thing, I'm like, it works great for Wii Sports. Yeah. But no gamers that I know, not a single one likes playing with motion. Not mm-hmm. one. And that's one of the reasons why I sold my Nintendo Wii, because I'm like, I don't want to play with motion. I want a controller. Like,
you want to sit on the couch and you want to play.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to relax. Like, you can't relax when you're swinging your arms around like a monkey. Like, that's not relaxing, and your arms are gonna get tired.
Yeah, the only time I've ever like done it is it's like we're bored. It's like a novelty. It's at my folks' house, you know, like it's Thanksgiving. Let's play Wii.
Exactly. So many people I know only break out their Wiis. I was just talking about to Aaron, our friend. Hey, Aaron, if you're watching. Then he was like, my Wii just sits there until people come over, and then we play it. I'm like, that's exactly what happened to my Wii, which is why I sold it, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. No one ever plays this thing. Right. It's taking up space. Like, let's get rid of it. I really only use my Xbox. Mm-hmm. So an Xbox has a solid framework in place. Like the fact that they built in Xbox Live, they were so future thinking. Like I remember on the original Xbox, Xbox Live was something that only a few games took advantage of.
Yeah.
And you could play with your friends online. And now there is not a game that doesn't use Xbox Live. Like you can play games with everybody online. It's amazing.
And that was the one reason why it probably took ahead, like it did above the PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The popularity just
because it's totally social. I mean,
and
like
it's super simple to set up and everything.
It's plug and play, and it's awesome. I mean, if you don't play Xbox, like you think about your buddies, right? Like women go out, they like sew and talk about fairies and all that stuff. It's like, and they talk and they build relationships, right? Like guys don't normally do that. But like I can sit on my couch, I can put my headset on, and I can talk to my friends, and we may not even be playing the same game.
Right.
Although a lot of times we are. And just we're able to build our friendship because we're doing something while we're talking, which is how guys operate. It's like guys work best when they're doing something together, and then the talk happens, right?
Instead of like, hey, let's go out to coffee.
Let's go to coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, and then you sit there and it's weird.
Yeah,
it's like you need to be. It's like, hey, let's go play golf. Yeah. I don't even play golf, but hey, let's go do this.
Yeah,
and then you can talk while you're doing something else, right? That's what's so great about the Xbox Live experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about Xbox. I know we're kind of droning on and on about this, but they also released a new app, which I think is really exciting, and it's called Microsoft Glass?
Yeah. Smart Glass.
Smart Glass, which Microsoft, cool name, way better than Bing, which I hate. I think you should burn up Bing and never say it again. Smart Glass is an app that is going to be released on iPhone, it's going to be released on Windows Phone, and on Android devices. And first, let me just say, how amazing is that? Because Microsoft is notorious for, this is only going to be available on your Windows 8 smartphone.
Right.
Well, they realize no one has a Windows 8 smartphone or a Windows 7 smartphone. No one wants one.
Right.
Except for the people that work at Microsoft. And
they have to pretend they like it.
And pretend that they like it, right. So, I mean, most people have iPhones or Android devices, let's face it. So,
come on, guys.
The Smart Glass lets you do a lot of things that you were saying earlier. Like you can project games onto your screen. You can project movies onto your screen through the Xbox. It's very similar to the Apple TV in a lot of ways. And like the coolest functionality that I saw, there's two pieces. One of the things I don't like about my Xbox is the fact that you have to control Netflix, you have to control the movie experience with a controller. Like the actual video game controller.
But you can buy a controller.
You can buy a controller, that's true, but most people that I know don't have one. So the very first thing they're going to allow you to do is use your iPhone or your iPad as a remote control.
That's fantastic.
So you can search on it, right? You don't have to like buy the chat pad that goes along with the controller that no one owns.
Yeah.
So you could search with it, all that stuff, and you can use it to control your media.
Is it called the chat pad?
I think it is called the chat pad, actually, yeah. And the second bigger thing is they're trying to build this whole new like dynamic content system into games and movies. So you're playing, let's say you're playing a video game, you're playing Modern Warfare 3, and like instead of having a mini map like on your screen, you can have it on your iPad. And your iPad is giving you information about what's going on in your game while you're playing the game. So it's like you have this experience that's happening between your two devices to make your experience more immersive. And one of the examples they showed, like if you were watching Game of Thrones, in the episode, you're watching it, right? And then on your iPad, it's showing a map of the world, and it's showing where these people are.
That's cool.
And where the different groups are, like where the segments leave off in the show. And I was like, whoa, that's really innovative. Like, props to Microsoft for being really creative and kind of taking this whole Xbox experience to a whole new level where the rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble.
It's really funny how Microsoft like notoriously is just so like laughed at for all of their other stuff that they do, you know, and then Xbox is its own like little island where everyone fucking loves it. You know?
It is, yeah. I mean, it is Microsoft's golden boy.
Yeah.
Xbox is the de facto system. And which is funny because remember when it came out, the PlayStation 2 had a lock on the market.
Oh yeah, and everybody was dying to get the PlayStation 3. People got capped.
Did they really?
Yeah, man. You don't remember that?
Got shot? No.
Yeah. And anyway, but I still want an Xbox 360 because there's certain games I really want to play, but I don't know.
You can get one on Craigslist for super cheap.
Yeah, I was looking on Amazon. They were like $100.
Yeah.
So I would probably just do it just for that, since I'm like a definite casual gamer. You know what I mean? But
and you have a TV too now, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been to your place in a while, actually. Wow. And Netflix on the TV would be
Yeah,
Of course you have an Apple TV.
that was the other thing is like I was waiting to get that, but I ended up buying one of those. Like it's like an Apple TV.
Oh right.
So
Yeah,
it's like I don't even have the benefit of the of Netflix from the Xbox, but there's still a few games that I'm like, dude, I really really want to play that, and there's no other way to do it.
Like what games are you excited about?
I really want to play the newest Mortal Kombat 9.
Do you really?
It looks so good.
See, that would actually be cool because I like fighting games, but I don't have any friends that ever play them.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't know how much online gaming I would do. Like, but you can do it with the new Mortal Kombat. But I forgot what I was gonna say.
But you're excited to play this.
Yeah,
game.
this one looks really cool. I was gonna say like the majority of what I've noticed with Xbox and with just online game is that everybody's doing first person shooter. Like that's it. Like that's the main thing people get pumped about.
That is the driving factor.
And that's
of
like
Xbox,
the most money that gets put behind advertising for all of the games.
Oh, dude, Modern Warfare 3 made like $1 billion already.
Really?
Dude, they are bigger than movies. Like it's a gigantic franchise.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I mean, who knows how much they made from all their Elite sales too? Because this year they sold a package deal where you get all the levels and everything. Oh man, it's crazy.
It'd be fun to have. I might just get one just to
you should get one.
Play a few games.
I mean, Aaron would love to see you play Modern Warfare 3. I would love to see you play Modern Warfare 3.
That's the other thing. It's like you can't just be like sort of into something like when you get into. It's like going out and wanting to play basketball, but everybody's like. They like want to kick your ass if you're not Jordan, you know? It's like if you go into playing like online gaming, like you're a douche because you don't know how to do everything they know how to do.
No, I don't think that's true.
And it's like I don't know. That's the part of me that I'm just like, like I'll just.
I mean, you could honestly never use Xbox Live, but I bet you would.
Yeah.
I bet you would.
Oh yeah, I probably would because I mean. Like this game does it too, so.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like, you can play people online that you don't even know. It will just pair you with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, that's amazing. We talked way too long about this, but it's exciting. It's a really exciting time to be a video console gamer because we're on the verge of getting a lot of new stuff, and there's a lot of amazing games coming out next year. So I'm glad we talked about this, and let's move on though.
All right.
You wanted to talk about an app that you found on the internet that you liked, right?
Yeah. So my friend told me about this app. Actually, it's a website. And so basically, let me preface this. So I have a small business, and
Hey, I do too.
oh, nice. So do you ever have to do
Yes,
faxing?
I do. Amazingly, we still have to fax stuff to people.
Yeah. So
It's
like
freaking 2012.
yeah. So we get these ridiculous like emails from people that we need to work with or we need to sign a contract. Or
exactly.
we need to do something like where we're sending them a bill that says that we're signing off on it, and they still require us to fax it in. You know, like fucking going to
Like my bank, especially. Yeah.
and faxing it in. So. I'll do a lot of this on the computer now, so I won't have to print it out necessarily until I have to fax it. But what I've been doing, like an idiot, is using this app called PDF Pen to sign my name and fill in all the boxes of whatever form I'm filling out, printing it out, and then going to across the street to the UPS store, and then paying like pretty much about $7 for them to fax.
Yeah, because it's usually like $2 a page.
Yeah.
For that machine to make a phone call.
And then I have to put that on my card. Just it's so dumb.
It's insane.
And so I was probably bitching about this to my friend John, and he was telling me, oh, you should try HelloFax. So HelloFax.com was so easy to use and really simple to set up. So when you basically set up, you sign in. Let me see if I can log in. And what's really cool about their system is that they give you 5 free fax pages just for signing up, and then they have these little incentives to get you to spread the word about them, and they'll give you more fax pages. So like they're like, if you tweet it, you'll get 5 more pages. If you Facebook it, you'll get 5 more pages. If you tell a friend, you'll get more. And I'm like, dude, this is actually a really good app. So I was tweeting it, and all I needed to do was send one. I don't know what the pricing is on it because like I said, I just did one. But
Oh, okay, so they have plans.
Yeah. So what are the plans?
Okay, so their free plan actually isn't bad. You get 5 free pages a month, and then unlimited signed emails, whatever that means. 5 signature requests. So they really have a lot of like fax stuff. And then they have a $5 a month plan where you can send 50 fax pages a month. You get a local number. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Unlimited signed emails.
Let me see if I can kind of recreate this. So, this is the typical thing I would get in from, let's say I want to do a convention and I get this kind of thing where it's just like a big long form. And for HelloFax, I would just, let's see, upload the file. And I actually do have to fax this, but I won't do it right now. Dude, I hate how Lion hides your desktop. Like it's making it hard just to find it. Okay, I'll just drag it in. Look, you can actually drag it over the website, and then just pop it in. It reads it, it uploads it, and then it asks you for a phone number. That's step 2, and then you send it. So it's 2 steps.
Simple.
And then they send you an email, which is your confirmation, which is what you get when you, go actually fax something. They give you like a confirmation that says that it was received, and that's it. And it sounds like it's like finally somebody came up with like a simple way to do this. I think at one point Mac OS 10 they had it in the system where you could hit print and there was a fax button there too.
I wish we still had that.
But it doesn't work over like internet. It only works with like a stupid phone, you know?
See, this has been the problem, right? And this is why fax machines still exist, is because they're not enabled to use like digital data. Like they still operate on creating sounds over a phone line.
Yeah.
And that's the way the data gets sent from one thing to another. Like if the fax machine would just use the internet, then none of us would have a problem anymore. Of course, if a fax machine used the internet, it would just be a computer. It's like,
right, yeah. Yeah, so then you have to have a whole like startup come around to just solve this stupid problem.
It's insane that we're still dealing with this.
Yeah.
You know? This is cool. I'm gonna try this out. I've been using a website called GoFax, I think, and it's free also, but the UI is terrible. And not to mention, I've had several instances where I've used it and it will just not send my fax. Like it says it sent my fax, and I have the confirmation, but
you
the
ask
fax
the person, they tell you no. It doesn't.
Yeah, in fact, one time I was sending in like I was faxing in like a letter for like a ticket I got, and I was like, yeah, here's my explanation, blah 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 blah, you know, and then I get this letter that's like, you missed your court date, and I was like, I sent in the letter, like I shouldn't have had to go into court, and they're like, we never got it. And I was like, I have the confirmation right here. She's like, we never got it.
So did that help you that you at least had the confirmation?
Actually, yeah, the confirmation did help. She's like, yeah, we don't have it here.
That's dumb.
So, but I've had that happen more than once with them, where the people are like, we never got your fax.
Mine was instant. Like I just, I got the confirmation and then they emailed me back and they're like, yeah, we got it. So, and I was like, dude, that was so painless. Like, and the fact that they give you those incentives to kind of spread the word so that you get free pages, I was like, dude, your product's awesome. I'm tweeting it out for sure, you know?
Yeah.
Even if people don't even care, because faxing is such a weird thing to be psyched about, you know?
It is really, that's true unless you have to do it. This is what Slate said. They have this on their website. Hello Fax, the website that finally liberates us from the worst gadget on earth.
So true.
That is actually really funny, the worst gadget on earth. I really can't believe that we still have these. I mean, I have a fax machine here, but it's not connected to a phone line.
Right.
So I can't use it, because who has a phone line anymore?
Right, dude. And it's like, why do you need it to be faxed anyway? Why can't we just send it back to you in email?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Because I need it to come out of a machine where I can go to the machine and get it. That's how it works.
So yeah,
cool.
that was my little
HelloFax.com.
pick. Yeah, HelloFax.com.
I like it. I want to wrap up with a conversation about creativity. And I know this seems like an abstract concept, but bear with me. So I was reading an interview with Bill Murray of Ghostbusters fame, and he was talking about creativity, and he had a lot of really interesting stuff to say. The full interview was on, I forget the name of the website. I have bits and pieces of it, but I'll find it towards the end. But so I want to read you what he said when he was asked about creativity, and then I want to have a discussion about it. He says, You've got to commit. You've got to go out there and improvise, and you've got to be completely unafraid to die. You've got to be able to take a chance and die. And you have to die lots. You have to die all the time. You're going to go out there with just a whisper of an idea. The fear will make you clench up. That's the fear of dying. When you start and the first few lines don't grab people, you're like, what is this? I'm not laughing and I'm not interested. Then you just put your arms out like this and open way up, and that allows your stuff to go out. Otherwise, it's just stuck inside you. I probably messed up some of that. But you and I both have creative endeavors, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're doing this podcast. I have another podcast. We both have businesses that are arguably all about selling creativity. We're not selling coffee. Mm-hmm. I mean, what is your creative process like? Like, I know you're constantly coming up with new pillows. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like when you come up with an idea, do you feel like you kind of like in your head kind of evaluate whether or not it's a good idea, and then if you think it's good, you try it? Or are you one of those guys that just kind of tries stuff constantly and you just kind of throw stuff out there and you see what sticks? Because I guess there's kind of two schools in my mind, right? There's the guys who think very deliberately for a long time and then do something. And they will do it regardless of whether people like it or not. They're going to just keep doing it until it picks up steam, right? And there's guys that are constantly trying stuff, and most of it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, a few things stick, and that's how they get their stuff out there.
I think that when I come up with things, it's weird. It's like you don't really know where that spark comes from for the most part, you know? And I was watching a documentary about advertising, and they're like, the scariest part is that we walk into work every day and we have no freaking idea where these things come from. We just, this is like part of who we are, that we come up with these ideas. And, but I'm definitely the type that like will keep it very guarded until I actually want the world to know what it is I'm creating. So and I like the surprise element. I'm like Apple. I like to just unveil something. It's like, oh, we didn't even know you were like doing that. Mm-hmm. It's like I love that. So I guess that's sort of the marketing side of me that likes that part of it. But I mean, there's people out there that will like be able to just open up a notebook and write a million songs, and just like which one sounds the best, they'll use it, Mm-hmm. I'm definitely the person that will rewrite the same song 100 times, until I actually like it, So I definitely work on one thing for a while, and if I'm not excited about it, then I know that it's not good, and it's always served me well when it's been something that I've like, dude, this is awesome, I want this. Then it's always been a good thing. Like, it's always been a successful thing for me. So, and I'm speaking more in my recent years of doing Throwboy and stuff like that. But that's kind of like how I look at it. If I'm really psyched on it, then I think that other people will be excited about it too.
But don't you feel like sometimes you'll be really psyched about it and you show it to people and people are just like, eh?
Yeah, but...
Doesn't that happen to you?
It does sometimes with people that are like closer to me, I think. But I think what's lucky for me is that people can vote with their wallet for me. You know what I mean? Because I sell products. I don't have to worry about people just telling me what I'm doing is cool, even though they don't really like it. It's like, if nobody's buying it, then I know that it sucks,
Right.
And it's like, that's the hard part. If you're like a musician, or maybe you're on YouTube and you're doing music and everybody's like, you're awesome, that's great. And then you're like... Some people, like some YouTubers, will delete comments that say that they're not good, so they're living in their own bubble of like
really
self-absorbed, like where I'm cool and I'm great.
That's interesting.
And so like from the product side of it, from what I just do, where it's just, let's say if I'm not talking about the stuff I do with music, if I'm just talking about products and stuff like that, and I do something that I really like and I put it out there and I have to see, are people going to like it because they're going to pay for it or not? You know what I mean? It's different than just being like a writer or something like that, or like a songwriter that goes on YouTube and everybody tells you that you're good, but they don't pay for it,
Yeah, well, they pay you with their attention.
They could, but they could also just tell you you're cool because you're hot or something,
Yeah, that's actually really true. That's normally what happens to me.
But... Huh. I don't know. What is your take on that?
I kind of think I'm kind of a mixture of both. Like I think for me, I like just kind of throwing stuff out there sometimes and seeing what happens, because I feel like as good as you might think something is, there's either not a need for it or there's other people doing it already, and you just never know what's gonna stick.
Right.
Like, with the Cult Cast, my other podcast, it's pretty successful, and it's funny, like when we were doing it, I crafted the format of the show in a very specific way because I'm like, this is how I would like the show to be. But even though I thought it was good, there's no way I could have known that other people were going to like it. Like, it could have totally fizzled. I mean, and then you'd be in one of those weird scenarios where you're like, I really thought this was good, and I still think it's good, but it's not what people want.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what happened, but that could have happened. And in the graphic t-shirt business, which is what my tees is, it's like sometimes I think something's really cool, and then I make it, and people will just kind of have no reaction to it at all. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, obviously I think this is cool, but I'm either not talking to the right audience, or this thing just isn't as cool as I think it is.
Right.
Which sometimes it can be hard to tell, but it's easy to get discouraged when that kind of stuff happens. And I think for me, bringing it back to this piece that Bill Murray was kind of talking about, and I've heard Seth Godin talk about this too, and Seth Godin's a really popular writer who writes like marketing books. He's like, I fail all the time, and you guys don't get to see it. He's like, the only stuff that you see are the things that are successful enough to become popular. He's like, but I come up with bad ideas all the time, and I still try. And I think that
was like Steve Jobs too.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in a period in my life where I'm kind of moving away from, having a normal job and just kind of not putting yourself out there in a lot of different ways and feeling safe in that regard, to this period where I'm doing a lot more stuff and I'm failing a lot. I'm failing a lot in my life. And for looking at it from the outside, you maybe wouldn't think that, but I'm like, dude, I try so much stuff that doesn't work. And I talk about it with people who are close to me, and they know about all of it. But then like people from the Cult Cast would be surprised to hear that, right? Because they're like, "Dude, you're doing the Cult Cast," and I'm like, "Yeah," and that's working really well. But it's like, dude, there's so much that you don't see. And I guess the bottom line for me is like, you just have to kind of get used to that failure, right? Like you just have to kind of keep pushing through. And if something doesn't work, I think it's really important to learn to move on. Yeah. Like, to learn when to move on. I think
and you have to have fun doing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think that it sounds cliche, but it's like, it's true, like a lot of the things I do, and started, like, for whatever reason started to do was because I really I thought it would be fun to do, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And, or like I'll do music with somebody because of the, like, love of doing that, If you're going at it where you're just like, this will definitely be successful, then like you're probably not really passionate. In my opinion, now, like, not passionate or whatever, not an artist or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, artist is a stupid word, but I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like it's appropriate for certain things, like where you're doing it for just loving it, doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, and I think that's a really important distinction too, because sometimes you could be doing something and you could not be doing it the right way because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And if you just change your attitude, you start to have way more fun doing it. And then whatever it is you're doing starts becoming fun again, and it might start becoming successful because it's obvious that you're having a good time. Right. I did a photo shoot with your girl recently, and it was weird because I was going to pick her up. And I was like, I've kind of been getting into more like just like fine art photography. I've been trying to, and it's a strange transition because normally I just do portraits and that kind of thing, which are easy. And when I was going to pick her up, I was like, I have absolutely no idea what we're going to do. I have zero idea. Like, I don't know where we're going to go. Yeah. And I know I have a bag full of props. I had some old books and some American flags. And I was like, I want to use these in some way, but I'm not sure how. And it was really nerve-wracking. And before I even got her, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to do this. I don't even want to go right now because I'm getting so psyched out. But I went and picked her up, and we kind of found our groove, and we had a great time. And we took a lot of really cool pictures. And I was just like, after I was done, I was like, I'm so glad that I just kind of pushed through and did that, even though I didn't know what was going to happen. And I feel like that a lot of times is how the creative process works. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't know what's going to happen, like the advertisers, right? Mm-hmm. Like you just need to go in and just do it and see what happens.
Right, yeah. And you never know. One of the things that you do takes off enough to where you can put all your energy into it, you know?
Yeah, right? And you can close on all the other pieces of crap that aren't working. Anyway, yeah, that really kind of sparked my imagination because I was like, dude, this is Bill Murray. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at Bill Murray and you're like, dude, it's Bill Murray. Like, he's been in Ghostbusters and all these amazing movies. Mm-hmm. And if you saw him in Zombieland, his performance was perfect. And then here he is talking about all these things that he does that are total failures.
Right.
All the time, mm-hmm. you know? But did you know he has 6 sons?
No, I didn't know that.
6 sons. Crazy.
Yeah, he had his spell of like not so good movies, you know? Like,
yeah, and he has a ton of bad movies out there.
Yeah, he was in Space Jam.
Was he really?
Which probably made a lot of money, but yeah, he was in that.
That's really funny. I wonder if I could bring up this this pocket thing. I want to tell you guys where you could read the full interview because it was actually really interesting, and it's at Esquire.com.
Oh, cool.
So it's called ESQ plus A, so it's the Esquire Q&A. So if you search Bill Murray Esquire, I would read the whole interview. It's actually kind of long, but one of the fascinating things about it is like this interviewer is just sitting in his home with him, and like while they're having the interview, like Bill Murray is like yelling at his sons and like talking about all these random things, and the interview puts all that in.
Oh, really?
Like even
That's
like
cool.
the conversations between Bill Murray and his sons and that kind of stuff.
I had something maybe to add to this. When you're doing stuff, are you very like, do you think in the way of let's try to solve a problem, or do you just think of like this would be cool because I like it and I should do it as a project?
I do both.
I almost always do the first one.
Let's try to solve. No, the second one.
Yeah.
So you're always like, I think this would be cool. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I think I do a mixture of both because sometimes I'm like, this would be cool, and then sometimes I'm like, this would solve a major problem. Yeah, I think I'm more of the second one too, actually.
Sometimes I get really psyched but it's almost always not in a business that I'm in. I'm just like, whoever's doing that is like killing it because they saw that problem and they're fucking killing it, you know. And I get really pumped about that for that other business, for that other person. But I'm never like that about what I'm doing. I never. Maybe I don't assess what I do enough to go, oh, I was solving that problem, you know?
Yeah, and when you're doing something that's creative, it's like you're not really solving a problem, right? Yeah, exactly. Like you're being creative. I feel like they're very different mind frames.
It's like saying there's a problem with silence, so let's make music, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I hate silence.
Do you know who hates silence? Gerardo from the Rico Suave
Dude,
days.
he does. But when you make noise like this... Who needs silence? Dude, it's your homeboy.
Isn't he an advisor over at...
Most people don't know this,
Mike
but
T's.
Gerardo is a Mike T's advisor.
And Square.
He's a Square advisor. He is a Google advisor. He's an Apple advisor. He's an eBay advisor.
Yeah, and he shows up at all the parties to take pictures.
And he's always at all the parties with his full mariachi band. And you know that outfit that he wears in his Gerardo video with the boots, the silver tip, and the bandana? He still wears that.
Yeah. It still looks good after 20 years.
Oh, dude, that guy's keeping it real all over town
Latin,
and Silicon Valley.
And Latin till he dies.
And he's Latin till he dies. He hangs out with MC Hammer all the time. Him and MC Hammer and Ashton Kutcher. Dude, BFFs.
Do you know what makes him cool today, though?
What's that?
And not only cool, but tech. Very good at tech.
What
is that? We remember him when we were little. That makes him instantly cool and good at tech,
and also good at tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, he's a pioneer.
Yeah.
I really think he's a tech luminary.
I've heard a quote one time, and it was something about Square's new device wasn't rico enough.
Yeah.
But it was suave.
It was a little suave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they rolled with it. He's a genius. And I think he needs to sell his own line of bandana wear because we need to bring that back. We can push our hair down.
Now I know problem to solve.
That's right. Rico wear. Suave. And he does the most excellent Running Man you've ever seen.
Yeah.
He can do that. He can do that shite for hours. Just straight up Running Man.
He's been doing it for 20 years, Erfan.
Yeah, he's an expert. He's just the best Running Man guy out there.
Well, Erfan, if we want to find you on the internet, where do we go?
Okay, so Twitter, best place, at Erfon, ERFON. If you're interested in Might Tees, that's MIGHTTEES. Or as one of our friends says, Mighty Tees. Mm-hmm. It's not Mighty Tees, it's just Might Tees, at Might Tees. And what about you?
Well, you can find me, I'm just going to plug my About Me, about.me/Roberto Hoyos, ROBERTOHOIOS. That's just, has all my links. I do other things on the side. I do this podcast. I have a business. And
you hang out with Grandma a lot.
Yeah, I hang out with Grandma. I just saw her today.
And if you want to see a giant picture of my face, go to about.me/Erfon, ERFON.
You guys can subscribe to us in the iTunes podcast section. We're just user friendly, and we have a website, userfriendlyshow.com, which if you're watching here, hello. And our YouTube is getting some activity these days.
Getting some hot action.
So youtube.com/userfriendlyshow. All right, guys. Well, it was a good show. Episode 20.
Episode 20.
And we will catch you next week.
Signing off.